Today, your feet almost never touch the real world. They touch socks. They touch rubber. They touch foam. They touch smooth floors, flat roads, clean tiles, soft carpets, and shoes designed to protect you from ground you barely notice. You can walk across hot pavement, sharp gravel, wet streets, cold floors, mud, broken branches, and city sidewalks without thinking about every step. Your shoes do the thinking for you. They absorb impact. They block sharp edges. They keep skin away from heat, cold, insects, dirt, and rough surfaces. They let you walk faster than your bare feet might allow because the ground is no longer speaking directly to your body. But for most of human history, there were no modern shoes, no sneakers, no rubber soles, no hiking boots, no factory sandals, no soft insoles, no waterproof layers, no shoe store, no perfect size waiting on a shelf. There was only the foot and the earth. Stone, sand, mud, grass, snow, thorns, roots, wet riverbanks, hot ground, cold ground, animal trails, forest floors, mountain paths, broken branches, hidden sharp edges beneath leaves. Every journey began with contact. Every hunt, every gathering trip, every migration, every escape, every search for water, every return to camp depended on two fragile-looking parts of the body touching a dangerous world again and again. So the real question is not simply whether ancient humans walked barefoot. Sometimes they probably did. Sometimes, in some places, they may have used simple protection made from natural materials. The real question is bigger. How did ancient humans survive before modern shoes made the ground disappear? How did they walk for miles across rough land without rubber under their feet? How did they avoid cuts, thorns, burns, cold, swelling, infection, and pain that could make movement harder? The answer was not one thing. It was the foot itself. Skin that could thicken, muscles that worked, eyes that watched the ground, memory that knew the safe path, a group that moved carefully, and, when materials and need allowed, simple protection made from the land itself. Before shoes became fashion, shoes were survival. And before shoes existed at all, every step was a negotiation with the earth. The ground was never just ground. To modern feet, a path is usually something flat, planned, and safe. But ancient ground was alive with problems. A stone could be sharp. A branch could be hidden under leaves. A thorn could enter the skin. Wet mud could steal balance. Hot sand could burn. Cold ground could numb the foot until pain arrived too late. And a foot injury was not a small inconvenience. Today, if your foot hurts, you can rest, change shoes, take medicine, clean the wound, or avoid walking for a while. But in the ancient world, walking was not optional. If you could not walk, you could not follow the group easily. You could not gather food well. You could not run from danger. You could not carry water, track animals, move camp, or keep up with people who depended on movement to survive. A small cut on the foot could change everything. Not because every cut became deadly, but because the foot touched everything. Dirt, water, mud, leaves, animal trails, wet ground, sharp stones. A small wound could become painful. Pain could change the way someone walked. A changed walk could slow the group. And if the wound became worse, survival became harder. Feet were also exposed to distance. Ancient humans did not live in a world where everything came to them. Food was somewhere else. Water was somewhere else. Safer campsites were somewhere else. Seasonal resources moved. Animals moved. People moved with them. That meant the foot was not just a body part. It was transportation. It was survival equipment. Every day, the ground tested it. Rough land tested the skin. Long travel tested the muscles. Uneven surfaces tested balance. Heat and cold tested endurance. Thorns and stones tested attention. So ancient humans could not treat the ground as background. They had to read it. Where was the safer path? Which rocks looked sharp? Which grass hid thorns? Which mud was too deep? Which sand was too hot? Which shaded ground was easier? Which route could children, elders, and tired adults still cross? Before modern shoes, the world reached the body through the feet. The first answer was the foot itself. A foot that grows up touching rough ground is not the same as a foot that spends its life inside soft shoes. The skin can become thicker. The sole can become tougher. Small muscles in the foot work more often. Balance becomes more active. The toes, arch, ankle, and eyes work together with every step. This did not make ancient feet invincible. A sharp stone could still cut. A thorn could still enter the skin. Cold could still damage. Heat could still burn. Pain could still change the way someone moved. But a stronger, more practiced foot gave people a better chance. Calluses mattered. To modern eyes, thick skin may look rough or unpleasant, but in a world without modern shoes, thicker skin could act like natural protection. It could reduce friction. It could make rough surfaces easier to tolerate. It could help someone walk farther before the ground became painful. Still, the real skill was not only in the foot. It was in attention. Ancient humans had to look down and look ahead at the same time. They had to notice which stones were sharp, which leaves hid thorns, which ground was wet, which sand was too hot, which animal trail was easier to follow, and which slope could twist an ankle. A good walker did not fight the ground blindly. They read it. They placed weight carefully. They changed direction when needed. They stepped on roots, grass, flat stones, packed dirt, or shaded ground when those surfaces were safer. They avoided thorn patches when they could. They walked around ice, deep mud, burning sand, and broken branches when the landscape allowed it. The group mattered too. A route was not only chosen for the strongest adult. It had to work for children, elders, tired people, injured people, and anyone carrying food, tools, water, or a sleeping child. A path that one fast hunter could cross might be impossible for the whole group. So survival was not just tough feet. It was shared movement. People learned where the ground was kinder. They remembered river crossings. They remembered sharp, rocky slopes. They remembered safe trails, shaded paths, animal tracks, and places where feet had been hurt before. And sometimes, the answer was not bare skin at all. In some places, when materials and need allowed, humans may have made simple foot protection from animal hide, woven grass, bark, plant fibers, or other natural materials. Not modern shoes, not soft sneakers, but enough to place something between the foot and the worst ground. Before modern shoes, survival came from a partnership. Feet, eyes, memory, group movement, and the land itself. The evidence for ancient footwear is difficult because shoes are usually made from materials that disappear. Leather rots. Grass breaks down. Bark falls apart. Plant fibers decay. A stone tool can survive for hundreds of thousands of years, but a sandal made from woven material needs rare conditions to last. That means the history of footwear is partly invisible. Sometimes archaeologists find ancient sandals preserved in dry caves or protected places. Sometimes researchers look at bones and foot anatomy, asking whether certain changes might suggest long-term use of footwear. Sometimes footprints, wear patterns, and indirect clues help fill the gap. But the picture is not simple. Ancient humans were not all doing the same thing everywhere. Some groups may have walked barefoot often. Some may have used simple foot coverings when the ground demanded it. Some may have moved between both, depending on season, terrain, injury, cold, heat, or available materials. That is the important point. The question is not whether ancient humans had shoes exactly like ours. They did not. The question is how they survived before modern shoes made the ground quiet. Today, shoes hide the earth from us. You walk across stone, glass, asphalt, mud, snow, hot pavement, and rough paths without hearing much from the ground. Rubber takes the warning. Foam takes the impact. Fabric wraps the skin. The foot becomes protected, but also separated. Ancient feet lived in a louder world. Every surface gave information. Sharp rocks warned the eyes. Cold ground warned the skin. Hot sand forced timing. Mud changed balance. Thorns shaped the path. Pain became memory. A scar became a lesson. A safe trail became knowledge. Before modern shoes, survival was not only about having tougher feet. It was about understanding the ground before the ground injured you. So how did ancient humans survive without modern shoes? Not because their feet were magical. They survived because their feet adapted. Their eyes watched. Their skin thickened. Their groups chose paths carefully. And sometimes, when the land demanded it, they placed leather, grass, bark, or woven fibers between the body and the earth. Modern shoes let us forget the ground. Ancient humans survived by never forgetting it.